Hey, welcome back. Al Angelo here from A Plus Racing. Yeah, we're only a few days away from the 25 hour. I am wearing the 2021 official A Plus Racing jersey. Hey, maybe I'll start selling these. You think you guys might want one of these? Let me know. All right. So I've got a couple of comments like, hey, how do I set the fuel pressure on my Miata? So I'm going to show you how to check it. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to run through the process for how do I check my fuel pressure to see if the thing's even got fuel pressure. So this is a really handy video if you have a no crank, no start. So I got a buddy up there in Brooklyn. We've been working together on trying to get his Miata started, and I told him he needs to check the fuel pressure. He's got spark, and so now we're going to go to fuel pressure. So you need three things for a car to run. You got to have spark at the right time, you have to have fuel pressure, and you have to have compression. All right. So usually when the car is cranking, if it goes, that kind of tells me it has compression. If I go to crank a car and it goes, there's no compression. All right. So we kind of know he's got compression. He says he's got spark. And now I want to show him how I do a fuel pressure test. Okay. All right. So let me get back to that. If I did have a car, and my buddy in Brooklyn, if I did have a car that didn't start and I suspected a fuel issue, okay, we could have fuel pressure and the injectors are not opening and closing and we wouldn't have any fuel. So what you could do to find out, is this fuel or is it something else, is you could take off this hose right here, or you could take off this hose from right here and try to get some gasoline into this intake. So, you know, bend this hose up, pour a little gas down there. I know some of you want to use starting fluid. Man, a long time ago, I had a bad experience with starting fluid because it blew up, all right? So I really don't use starting fluid anymore. I just use some gas, all right? So I put a little gas in here, but get some gas in here, 2 or 3 tablespoons, and then crank it and see if the thing pops. So if it goes boom, 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 and it kind of runs for a few seconds and dies, you know you got a fuel problem. So long as it's cranking, then you got to check for spark, and you got to check for fuel, okay? So let me move forward with how do I know what my fuel pressure is. So I know this one's missing. It seems like, I don't know why it's missing, but it's missing. And it's okay because this one here, this is the one we use for a Miata. I think this is 1/4 inch, all right? So I highly recommend you buy one of these. They're really cheap, $6-8. Throw it in a toolbox. So these are the way the new fittings are for Miata. These are all fuel and vapor lines right here, but this is the one here that we're really concerned with. Okay, this line here goes underneath the intake and it goes into the injector rail down over here. I gotta tell you, man, if you ever gotta replace that hose in the car, it's a pain in the ass, all right? You got to take the throttle body off. And if I get this tool in there, I'm golden. If I can't, I get a really small straight screwdriver and I kind of put it inside and open up the little, it's going to have like some little arms that hold it shut, and I kind of open them up and then pull it off. I go to the wrecking yard and I pull them off at the wrecking yard. So I'm going to use this tool to take off this line from right here. So I'm going to show you how to do it. So come on in close here. So here's the tool, and I'm just going to snap it over the metal line like that. And then I'm going to push it up, okay? And then I just pull up, twist the hose, and it should come right off. There it is, okay? You're going to get a little gas on you, but I used to date a gal that really loved the smell of gas. But that was about all she liked about me. All right, so I got that, all right? And so here's my gauge. And here's the adapter kit that I need to use the gauge. So this is going to plug onto the line right here. And I push it in until it snaps. Okay. And then this end is going to go on here. And I'm going to push it in until it snaps. Then my gauge has got a little quick release right here. It's going to go right on top like that. Okay. So now it's all hooked up. All right. So this gauge is in line with the system. All right. So now you're going to wait here and you're going to watch the gauge, okay? And I'm going to go inside and I'm going to try to start the car, all right? And then we'll see what it puts out. All right, here we go. Okay, I'm back. So it looks like 60 pounds at idle. So this is a good running car, and I'm between 55 and 60 pounds. And that's about normal for these cars. Now, if you watch the one on the dyno, we adjust that fuel pressure on the race cars, try to get more horsepower out of it. I just bought this car a couple weeks ago, and it does not have an adjustable fuel pressure regulator valve yet on it. I am going to order one. I'm going to get it here, and I'm going to show you how to install it, because that way I can squeeze the most power I can out of this engine. This is pretty good numbers. If I was to get this and it only had 20 pounds, I definitely have a fuel pump problem or probably a clogged filter, fuel filter, okay? So 50 to 60 pounds it should run. Now, if you're doing this on an NA, it has a return line back to the gas tank. So the way that fuel system works is it pumps fuel to the injector rail, the fuel pressure regulator valve is out here, and it sends fuel back to the gas tank. It's very important you understand this if you're checking that car. What I do on that car is while I got it running, I pinch off the return line. So you're going to see, you're going to tap into one line going to the injectors, and then there's another line that comes out. I squeeze that line with a pair of pliers, and I see what the maximum pressure is, okay? And so it should be around 80 pounds. I should have around 80. So usually that car, an NA, runs around 45 pounds of fuel pressure. When I pinch the return line off, it should go to 80. Anything less than like 70, it's a bad fuel pump. And here's what's happened. This is going to be a cool tip, and I've had this happen to me. The fuel pump starts to get weak, and maybe it only puts out 60 pounds. I told you that on an NA, it only needs 45 pounds to run, right? Okay, so you've got some pressure that you can send back to the gas tank. But where is our foot on the racetrack? Wide open throttle, okay? So you winding that thing up at 6,500, 6,800 RPM, your foot's to the floor, the fuel pump can't keep up with the volume of gas that you need, therefore the car goes slow. So I had it when I was turning pretty good lap times, and then over the next few months, it seems like I just couldn't get faster. I was like I hit a brick wall. The car was going slower and slower until finally somebody says, hey, you should check your fuel pump. So I checked the fuel pump just like I told you, and when I pinched it off, it only made 55 pounds. That meant the most that fuel pump can put out was 55 pounds at wide open throttle. And it wasn't enough to make me go fast, okay? It didn't have enough fuel pressure. So I put a new fuel pump on it. Oh boy, here we go. Fixed everything. My lap times were faster, the car was faster, it had way more power, all because the fuel pump was putting out enough fuel for me to run at wide open throttle, okay? So on this car, they don't run that system. This one has a variable fuel pump, so it doesn't have a return line. So we just check these periodically to make sure it's putting out the right pressure, and I change the fuel pumps on them like once a year. I change the fuel pumps on these cars just so that I can know that I'm staying on top of a good fuel pump. I buy them from Mazda. I don't usually buy the aftermarket ones for these cars. They just don't seem to do well with an aftermarket fuel pump. All right, so as you can see, it's a very simple system. My buddy in Brooklyn, I know you ordered that fuel pressure tester. You see the adapters that I'm using here. It's simple to do. It's good to check your car from time to time to make sure that you got good fuel pressure, because this is what's going to help you get up there in the front of the pack and stay in the front of the pack. Hey, 25 hours in a couple of days, I'll be bringing some live streams to you from there, so you guys can kind of check to see what we're doing. You can also watch us on Race Hero. We're car number 6 and car number 99. Race Hero is an app that we use all the time to watch live feed for races that are going on all over the world. All right, so I'm going to conclude this up. I hope you guys have a great day. If you haven't subscribed, what's the hold up? Subscribe. Great videos like this every single week to help you keep your Miata on the front low. So look forward to seeing those comments coming, and keep them coming, because I'm answering your comments as they come in, just like I'm doing on this video. Have a great day, and thanks for chiming in. Bye now.